Hello everyone, my name is Thunderbird and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going into an in-depth conversation on my two favorite gaming franchises on the PS4 at least. They're both made by the same developer, Naughty Dog, and you guys probably already know what those two franchises are, Uncharted and The Last of Us. We're going to start with The Last of Us, talking about The Lost Legacy, which is the standalone expansion that's coming out in August. And then we're going to move into just the Future of Uncharted. Finally, we're going to talk about some Last of Us 2 predictions, and I'm going to throw some Last of Us gameplay up on the screen while we're talking about that. But for now, we're going to get into The Lost Legacy and what I think it's going to do for the Uncharted series. So if you guys didn't already know, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is a standalone expansion to Uncharted 4, which personally was probably my favorite game of 2016, where it follows Nadine Ross, who's the villain from Uncharted 4, as well as Chloe Fraser, who's a fan favorite from Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, as they search for treasure in India, the Tusk of Ganesh, and they're up against this guy Asav or something, and it looks interesting. I'm excited for it. I'm interested to see how the characters mesh, because clearly they don't get along as well as someone like Nathan Drake and Sam Drake, because they're brothers. They seem to be more in a kind of relationship where it's like we're both using each other to get to the treasure. Or at least at first, because we see Nadine punching Chloe in the face during the latest trailer. So I'm very interested to see how this expansion goes without Nathan Drake, because he's always been the main character of the Uncharted series, and seeing him go is really kind of saddening. I remember the epilogue in Uncharted 4. I was just dying. I didn't want the series to end. And what I'm very happy about is it seems like new Uncharted games could still be on the horizon, but with different characters. In an interview with one of the creative directors behind The Lost Legacy, the interviewer asked, "Does this mean Uncharted can carry on further without Nathan Drake? Do you consider this the end of the characters' stories?" The creative director said, "I wouldn't say it's the end. This thieving world is huge. There's so many characters. Even before we settled on this particular story where we were exploring Sullivan, we were exploring Cutter, and pairing each other up, thinking what would be right, what would have conflict, growth, and something new. Something fresh." And Chloe was the one that kept jumping out. But to say the Uncharted world is done, I doubt that highly. Now, what this means is that obviously the studio right now is focused on The Lost Legacy. There's no doubt about that. That's their big game for this year. But it does show that new Uncharted games could be on the horizon. Different characters like Sully, Cutter. We know that Uncharted 4 ended with Sully and Sam Drake riding off into the sunset, doing some big thing. But yeah, I'm just interesting. I really don't want the Uncharted series to end. It's my favorite gaming franchise. And you know, it'd be awesome if we could explore some other characters deeper than these other games have. Now, to get back into The Lost Legacy, some predictions I have. I'm assuming it's going to be an 8 to 9 hour expansion, which is actually a long expansion. But I simply believe this because buy-in price is $40 unless you bought the digital deluxe edition of Uncharted 4, where you get Uncharted 4 for $60 and the expansion for $20. But standalone, the expansion will be $40. And yeah, that just tells me that this is near a full experience, which is good. I'm really excited to hear that it's not some like hour-long, 2-hour-long thing. Kind of like the Last of Us Left Behind DLC, which featured Ellie and her friend Riley, and basically how Ellie found out she was immune when she got bitten, and also her trying to protect Joel and help him get back into health. I don't mean to go off topic on The Last of Us. I was just saying that was only a 1.5 hour, 2 hour DLC, and I'm really excited because I really think this is going to be a longer DLC, and we're going to have some good Uncharted action. So yeah, the future of the franchise. Obviously, there's no announced Uncharted games, obviously. Uncharted 4 was released to critical acclaim. So, right now, I think Naughty Dog is really working on Uncharted The Lost Legacy, and then they're gonna go full force for The Last of Us Part 2. And here's the thing, even if we were to see other Uncharted games, there would probably be no news on them until 2019, 2020. And so I'm just trying not to overhype about something that could be very far off. But the idea of exploring these separate characters from the universe in greater detail and, going into their own personal stories, having them in the set pieces like you're seeing on screen right now. I love this Jeep chase. This was one of my favorite parts of Uncharted 4. I kind of get stuck in a rut here, and yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm just really excited for The Lost Legacy, and I can't wait to play it in August. And yeah, will there ever be an Uncharted 5? I really don't know. But the fact that one of the creative directors said that the end of the series is highly doubtful, that gives me hope for the future that there will be more Uncharted games. Who they will follow, we don't know. We don't know anything. I'm just getting skeptical here. So yeah, I figure, Uncharted The Lost Legacy comes out August 22nd. It's $40. So yeah, that'll be really good. We saw some gameplay at E3, or actually we saw a trailer at E3. It opened the Sony press conference, and I remember watching it live. The sound didn't kick in until like a few trailers into the show. So that was really annoying. I went back and watched the trailer, and it looks really awesome. Some of the set pieces, where Chloe's in a freaking helicopter, like, fighting guys. It looks really awesome. I'm really excited to play it. And, I really am interested to see how the series fares without Nathan Drake, because he's kind of always been that staple of the Uncharted series. That was the most stupid death. Oh my gosh. But he's always been kind of the staple, the Uncharted collection was called the Uncharted the Nathan Drake collection. So it's like, it's a very new direction for the series. And, I don't think the series will ever be the same, but I also don't think that it's necessarily over. And that makes me very happy. I'm willing to try new characters. I'm really interested. But yeah, I just can't wait for The Lost Legacy. We know it's coming out on the 22nd of August. And yeah, it's going to be really fun to play through. And I totally recommend it. And yeah. So now, I guess we're moving into The Last of Us. So, I should say, The Last of Us and Uncharted 4 are definitely my two favorite games on the PS4. The Last of Us was one of my favorite games, partially because, it was one of the first games I ever played. Being honest, I hadn't played a lot of video games before I got my PS4, and this was the second game I ever put in that console. And wow. I just love it. The survival horror aspects with the clickers. The first time I saw a clicker, I freaked out. It scared the crap out of me. And I was like, I was quite a bit younger, so obviously, yeah, but, how you had, I was shaking, like, throwing that first bottle to distract the clicker. If you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so now we've got confirmation of The Last of Us Part 2. We got that teaser trailer a while ago. It was like a 5-minute teaser trailer, and yet it felt so much shorter. Basically just Ellie playing the guitar, singing a song. And at the end, Joel basically asks her, you sure you want to go through with this? And she says, she puts down the guitar and says, I'm gonna kill every last one of them. And that sounds very grim, but it makes me excited too. I've heard numerous articles talking about how the story is much darker in this game. How the first game, it was about the loving relationship, the kind of father-daughter-esque relationship between Joel and Ellie. This time it's a story about hate. And this is where I'm going to get into some speculation territory about what I think is going to happen. So we already know we're playing as Ellie, as the primary character. So I being honest, I don't know Joel's fate. We clearly see Ellie in the trailer. We see her playing guitar. We see the face. You know, she's 5 years older. She's 19. And, yeah, we see the bite, and it looks worse. We do know that the fungus, even when she got infected and she was so-called immune, it's still degrading away at her body. So, you know, that's not good. But saying Joel is alive may not be entirely true. If we think about the end of The Last of Us, are we going to start calling it Part 1 or just The Last of... I'm going to call it Part 1, because that's what it is if there's a Part 2. So, The Last of Us, at the end, you know, Joel, spoiler territory here, go play the game if you haven't. It's fantastic. But yeah, at the end of the game, Joel essentially lies to Ellie about something that was very serious to her. And, you know, clearly she kind of can tell he's lying, but she just accepts it, and it cuts to black, and the game ends. And, wow, that ending. I sat through the credits just, like, with my jaw open. I'm like, what the heck? That's how it ends? But that ending is very important because clearly she knows he's lying. And I think if she didn't know, she's certainly going to find out in the second game. And whether or not she's mad about it or just, you know, thankful, I don't know. I don't know how she's going to feel. Something tells me she's going to be mad at Joel for lying to her and also for, you know, taking her away from a situation that she wanted to be a part of. But, you know, he couldn't deal with the loss of another daughter figure. Because he loses his daughter at the end of the game. Or at the beginning of the game. What am I saying? But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's very hard to speculate right now because we're so early. We know they started work on it probably 2 years ago because we know they started looking at some facial animators, I think. But, you know, that's not anything big. I'd say we're still a year, 2 years off from this game coming out. And all we have is a teaser trailer. We didn't get anything at E3 2017, which was... I was just sitting there so sad. I'm like, where's The Last of Us? And there was nothing. But, yeah... It's just exciting, and yet I'm scared because, you know, The Last of Us was such an incredible experience. Like, I loved it, every second of it. I was never bored. The times where you were just walking around in nature, it felt like kind of a reward, a break from all the madness of the apocalyptic setting, and I just loved the character relationships and all the characters, the way they acted. They all felt so real, and by the end I was just looking at them like they were real people. And I hope The Last of Us can, Part 2, can continue this, these characters and their development, because sometimes games get tainted, or franchises get tainted, when a second game comes out and it's not as good. And I don't want that to happen here. I have faith in Naughty Dog that they're gonna do the right thing. They always have. Uncharted 4 was my favorite game in the series, and that was the 4th game, so that tells you something. But yeah, is Joel dead? I think eventually he may go. I don't know, but just based on the way it's shaping out, think about how in the trailer he walks into that house Ellie's in. You never see his face in the trailer. Everything on him looks clean. He doesn't look dirty and bloody like he did in the first game. You know, he looks like a normal person just in the regular world. He's obviously got this survival stuff, but he kind of, it also shows him walking in with all this white light coming in from behind him. And this just kind of gives it like, sort of like he's entered the light kind of thing. Like maybe he's not even there talking to Ellie. He asks her the questions that he asks as though she's asking herself, like, are you sure you want to do this? Almost as though she wants to reassure herself that she's doing the right thing. And, you know, obviously Joel being dead it's not the most important thing, but obviously I don't think a lot of people want him to die. So, I don't know. I don't know how Naughty Dog's gonna do this so that they can make a game that not only lives up to the name and makes the franchise even better, but also manages to keep people happy with the characters and the story and gameplay and everything. But honestly, I have faith in them. They haven't done wrong by me in a game. I don't think really ever. I think I'm really excited for The Last of Us Part 2. Uncharted and The Last of Us, they're what got me really into gaming. And, you know, to see a sequel come out to a game that had that much impact on me, it's really exciting. So, yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I know I rambled on a little bit about The Lost Legacy and just about how much I love The Last of Us. But, yeah, I've just got some gameplay playing in the background. There's not much left, but I'm just going to leave it on that. And, yeah, thank you all for watching. If you can, subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And, yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye.
That bridge looks pretty far.
We'll get there.
Whoa. It's strange seeing a checkpoint with no soldiers.
Well, this is what most zones look like. This place has been abandoned for a while now.
Give us our rations. Why wouldn't they give them their food?
Sometimes they ran out. Most times they just held on to it.
That never happened in Boston.
Trust me, it happened all the time.